Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. This is the Belgian Grand Prix in Season 2. Round number 8 of the championship, getting ahead of myself there. Hopefully we can have a good run here, heading into this one. Just after practice, we will purchase, we have enough resource points for 2 upgrades this time. The first one will be a chassis, cockpit rather, weight reduction upgrade. Obviously that's a weight reduction upgrade, and we will also purchase an engine power upgrade, that is the intercooler, and that will potentially be on the car in time for the Italian Grand Prix if we rush the upgrade. But looking at the chance there of failure, 55%, I'm not going to risk that. That's just asking to waste resource points if we go for that. So yeah, we're not going to rush it in, and it will be on the car in time for the Russian Grand Prix if we don't rush it. So there you go. But anyway, with that out of the way, we have some good upgrades going on the car in the near future. But we already have had a few since the last round, and you can see we're back in the top fight of cars. I think you could say there. We're only 5th fastest on the R&D chart, but we are very, very close to Ferrari, and we know they have been quite quick on occasion. So it will be circuit dependent, I think, where we are fast and where we're not. But I think we can do some good work here in Belgium. So good start to qualifying. We're both through into Q2 very comfortably. I should say I forget if it was in Q1 or 2. One of them we did have to use 2 sets of tyres. That may have been Q2. So that was unfortunate. But anyway, a little spoiler alert there, I suppose. But we get the job done in Q1, and here we go into Q2. And you can see
there's been some damage to the underbody. We're recommending you come in so we can make repairs.
Yeah, at the end of our first flyer in Q2, we do damage the floor on the exit curb of Stavolo, so we will have to watch out for that in the race, that we don't go out there, because that will of course damage the floor. So yeah, we'll need to be aware of that. But anyway, we come across the line and start our second lap. We're actually already green, but that lap lasts all of about 1 corner before we mess it up. So we do go out on a new set of tyres, and we will improve on our time, because currently that first lap was nowhere near good enough. We were down in 16th. The second lap will be much better, and I think it will probably get us into Q3, and it does, up in 8th position. Unfortunately, Yuki Tsunoda not so lucky, and he is knocked out down in 12th, but still a decent showing for the team. But yeah, unfortunately for Tsunoda, he is knocked out. But yeah, other than that, Sergio PEREZ just about scraping into the top 10 in the Red Bull car. So the Red Bull's maybe not as strong here, but that said, Verstappen tops the session. So yeah, that's a very big difference between teammates there. McLaren's looking good, as they have been all season long, and Ricciardo will need to bounce back here after a bit of rotten luck in the last couple of rounds. He needs something to go his way today. But anyway, we now advance into Q3, and we're going to have a nice lot of slipstream here as we head up towards Eau Rouge, and we're going to make absolutely all the use of it that we can, and we do manage to potentially gain a couple of tenths there in that slipstream, and we get, of course, DRS as well on qualifying laps. Now into the final bus stop chicane. Let's see where this first and probably only flyer puts us, because that was actually right at the end of the session. I didn't actually point that out, but we only started that qualifying lap with about 3 seconds to spare. So we left that very late.
Let's review our top 3 today. Verstappen, Hamilton and Daniel Ricciardo. Goodbye for now then, but we're really just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
But anyway, yeah, that lap was only good enough for 8th position, so not great, but it will do. It gives us a good starting point for the race. with Max Verstappen up on pole position. He's one of the title contenders. We need to start scoring some big points if we want to call ourselves the same. So we have some work to do. Let's go do it.
Welcome along then to the Belgian Grand Prix, the race that gave us the maiden victory for the Jordan team in 1998. And in the same team, the phenomenal debut of a young Michael Schumacher. There's always something special around one of the many corners of this fan favourite circuit. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Ricciardo, Perez, Lando Norris, and Sainz, Fernando Alonso, the scientist, Leclerc, and Pierre Gasly, Vettel, Tsunoda, Nobuharu Matsushita and Ocon, Raikkonen, Mazepin, Lance Stroll and Antonio Giovinazzi, Bottas, Russell, Mick Schumacher and Nicholas Latifi. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Alright, so here we are on the grid then for the Belgian Grand Prix, and it is the wet conditions at the start of this one, but it won't last long. Heavy rain only will be around for maybe 5 minutes, so yeah, we are not going to stick around on the wet tyres for too long. We're actually going to choose to start on the intermediate compound and run those until it's dry. It will be a disadvantage to us off the start, but the intermediates in the full wet conditions aren't that bad, and I think it can save us more than a pit stop. So let's see what we can do here as we get underway for the Belgian Grand Prix, and we will just hope that we can get through the first few corners safely. We actually bail out and move off onto the grass. Illegal overtake there, so we'll have to be careful rejoining the circuit. Virtual safety car is out already at turn 1. So there's already been some contact up and down the field. We go on board with Mick Schumacher to see his perspective of the start. So much spray already. He goes for a dive up the inside, clips the back of his teammate there. Valtteri BOTTAS getting a hit up the back, and Schumacher the one doing so. And he will surely have a bit of damage to the front left corner of his car there. Here is what Valtteri BOTTAS saw of that. We won't have a great view because Schumacher, of course, was behind. There goes Schumacher down the inside. Bottas, though, able to go all the way back around the outside of his teammate there, as there's cars moving in all different directions. We're off circuit over there on the left, and here is the onboard with Lando Norris. And he made a decent start. Ricciardo immediately covered the middle, which was an interesting choice, but Norris making a bit of contact there, I think, with Lewis Hamilton, and he makes a move up into second position, but a bit of contact being made there. This is on board with Vettel. As we come back on the circuit, we make quite a heavy contact with him, but there wasn't really a lot we could have done there. At some point we do need to come back on the track, and we were getting close to that wall on the left hand side too, so yeah, that was a bit of an awkward one with Vettel there.
Safety car is ending. Maintain your pace until the green flag. VSC ending. Wait for green.
But anyway, we get underway once again, and with those couple of minutes under virtual safety car, that did help us out a little bit in meaning there's less time on the wet compound tyres, at race pace, or in the full wet conditions, I mean, at race pace. So that's a little bit less time lost for us, but you can see we are struggling at the moment.
For a new strategy option.
And yeah, we are always being recommended to switch tyres, but right now Vettel is right behind us and potentially trying to make a move here as he goes up the inside, and he gets almightily close to the back of us as he made the move. I think that was on Giovinazzi behind us there that Vettel was overtaking. So Vettel making the
a
move
few
there.
drivers are fitting wet tyres. We might need to change soon.
And we're still being told to box for the wet tyres, but we're committed to this strategy now, so there's no point going back as Vettel goes down the inside over the curb into the side of us, and damage surely for Vettel after that. He was very aggressive there, and even though we are slow, you can't go pulling moves like that in these conditions.
The rain looks like it's going to be getting much lighter over the next 10 to 15 minutes. There should be more grip, but don't expect a dry track. Full wets seem to be the fastest tyre for now.
And full wets still the recommended tyre. Also worth noting, Matsushita does have a time penalty for ignoring yellow flags, so that won't be good for him. But as we continue on, we actually catch up to him because it's the crossover point. Everyone else has been going slow on their full wets, and we have caught the train again, and now we're going to pass them all as they're in pit lane. So this strategy
Yuki is coming in for his stop.
has worked out absolutely spot on, perfectly for us, and we're going to take the lead as we just begin the 7th lap of the race, and we will have something of a buffer as well. But as you can see already, moving on, going defensive there, and Lando Norris getting a little bit up close and personal with us, and he may have actually made a bit of contact there, so we'll have to go aboard with Lando to see exactly what happened there. He just rushed into the corner a little too fast, tried to switch to the inside as we understeered wide, but he made a bit of contact with the back of us instead, and now he is holding up the train. So Lando Norris, surely with front wing damage, to be going this slowly, and there's a lot of cars behind him. Now he comes in to the pits to get that front wing change. So unfortunate for Lando, little mistake there, just running into the back of us as we had a moment of understeer, and yeah, Lando having to make an extra pit stop for more intermediate tyres in this one. But we continue to push on.
This rain should be stopping anytime soon. Be ready for the grip to come back, but don't overheat the tyres. Inters look like the best tyre for now.
So the rain stopping in the not too distant future. That's good news for us because we don't have the ultimate pace in these conditions, or potentially in any conditions really, but we are on older intermediate tyres than everyone else, so that is worth noting. But anyway, we're going to come in to the pit lane and get these intermediates changed out for a set of slick tyres.
Officials aren't looking to push for a safety car right now, just be careful.
And they will take us through to the end of the race. Interestingly though, we are going to go for
Yuki is in the pits. Yuki in the pits.
The soft compound tyres, and everyone else seems to be going for the mediums, as that is a lightning stop by the pit stop boys, and they have given us a 1.8 second stop. That is mega stuff by them, and we have easily gained a few tenths there. But we look at George Russell now, and he's gone another lap on the intermediate tyres and is struggling. Kimi Raikkonen down the inside, and he's got Nikita Mazepin right behind him as well. Raikkonen through, and now Mazepin right under the rear wing of the Williams car, and Esteban Ocon joining the fight as well. Ocon to the inside of Mazepin. Mazepin still can't get past Russell, and Ocon making the move, but he can't quite get through. Mazepin holds him off and takes the position once again, and it looks like Ocon's struggling now, and he's got damage to the front wing, does Esteban Ocon, so that has not gone well for the Frenchman, and trying to make that move, he has damaged that front wing, and he will subsequently need to come in and get that changed as Russell comes in finally to get rid of those intermediate tyres, which would have been absolutely roasted by the end of this lap, as Ocon now leaves his pit box and gets underway once again. That's a costly mistake.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the softs.
I think he made contact with Mazepin there in that fight. But anyway, we continue on, and we are being told to box for another set of soft compound tyres. We are not going to do that. We are going to go to the end on this compound. We will need to look after the tyres a lot, but it is possible. We can make it to the end. We just need to drive incredibly carefully. But the bigger question is, will he have the pace to hold off Lewis Hamilton, because he is fast, but at the moment we just about have enough to keep him at bay. That's the closest he's been so far, and we managed to hold him off relatively easily and maintain the position ahead of Hamilton, but yeah, he is starting to put the pressure on as we go a little bit deep into Rivage, and he can't quite make the most of that, so we'll continue to push on. We have to defend for another 14.5 laps just to that moment, so that is not too far, and that's Perez into the wall. Sergio Perez going for a spin, and he has smashed his car to pieces. I think he's still in the race, but Sergio Perez spinning himself out of contention. What a disaster for the Red Bull driver at the Fanya chicane. He does get going again. Here's what Yuki Tsunoda saw of that, and he will say, thank you very much, I will take that position, and moves himself up one spot. So that brings out the full safety car.
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes. Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
And now rain is forecast for the end of the race as well. So there is all sorts going on at the moment, and well,
Yuki is coming in for his stop.
who knows what's going to happen. A few people making stops under the safety car.
Approaching the safety car. You're leading, so don't pass it. Stay behind the safety car.
And I think the first of those stoppers is Yuki Tsunoda. So if that turns out to be the right way to go, that will be great for him. But Sergio Perez in for that front wing change that we will certainly need, but I imagine there'll be damage on other parts of his car as well after that contact with the wall. Side pod's floor, it's probably all gone, so he'll be struggling for the rest of this one. But for us, we didn't stop under the safety car. It maybe could have been a good idea, but
Okay, clear.
I didn't want to risk losing the track position. I wanted to keep that, and the cars behind us didn't stop either. We've got quite a few in between myself and the first car that has stopped, and that's Yuki Tsunoda anyway, so if we're under threat from anyone, it'll be our teammate. So I don't think that's really a big deal in the grand scheme of things. If that turns out to be the right way, I certainly wouldn't say no to seeing Tsunoda taking a good finishing position. But anyway, you can see we again just about managed to hold off Lewis Hamilton there, but he is getting very close.
Is probably dropping due to wear.
And with the help of DRS later, I'm very concerned. But anyway, we continue on, and Verstappen's down the inside, bit of contact with him on the apex there as we head through Les Combes, and very aggressively shutting the door there, but we hold him off once again. And now Hamilton is going to have a go now down the inside, and we will also manage to hold him off. So we're just about doing it up at the moment, but they're getting very, very feisty behind, and we are going to be equally as aggressive on the defense. We shouldn't be in tyre dramas now after that safety car. I paid very close attention to my driving under the safety car to make sure it was all as smooth as possible, and we should be in the clear now in terms of not getting a puncture. But you can notice the line I took at that first corner going very deep, but what that does, as we have to defend a bit there through the Fanya chicane now, so defending up more corners around the circuit. But what I was doing at the first corner is almost a NASCAR style tactic, where if you're on the outside line you get a better exit. So while Hamilton was able to get alongside mid corner, he had nowhere to go on the exit and had to slow up. So that is the tactic we employed there, as we actually completely bail out of Blanchimont. We were just all on the wrong line, and I didn't feel like taking that normally. But now Verstappen is down the inside of the final corner. A bit of contact maybe made there between us as we run wide, and now Verstappen has got the job done, and we will need to try and send it back up the inside. We're super late on the brakes. We need to get this position back if we want a chance of winning, but Verstappen with a great switchback, and he's got the job done there. And now we will need to deploy everything we have at our disposal, slipstream and DRS as we head up the hill. We need to stay as close as we can through here. Now with the DRS enabled, here is our chance to get back past Max Verstappen, and we will do so and move ourselves back up into the lead. So DRS saving us there, and we retake first position in this race. So things are back as they need to be. But yeah, that was a close one. We can't afford any more mistakes like that, because if our tyres get any worse, we won't be able to come back at him like that. So we have
We're expecting some rain soon. Expect the first drops in the next few minutes.
we have a lot of work to do, and with the rain coming very soon, that work is going to be very, very difficult.
Mind that front wing. It'll need replacing if it takes too much damage. Be careful. The tyres have deteriorated significantly at this point.
And with that fight with Verstappen, we now have front wing damage, so that is going to make things even harder for us. The front wing damage, the tyre is almost dead, and that contact with Verstappen has also damaged his car, and he's going to make a pit stop. So that is unfortunate for Max Verstappen, and that's going to send him tumbling down the order as we now need to focus on the next major threat behind us. That is Lewis Hamilton, who we are trying our best to hold off there. But Hamilton also getting very aggressive, and here's the replay on board. He actually makes fairly significant contact on the inside there with us, and has to bail out of the second part of that corner chicane to allow the McLaren through there of Daniel Ricciardo, who got up the inside.
Greasy, but we're still nowhere near the changeover point.
And now Ricciardo is leading the charge as we head through the middle sector. Once again, Ricciardo is starting to put the pressure on as he's made up for lost time in this one. But yellow flags behind, so something's going on back there.
Clear.
And there's a big gap behind, so has something happened to Ricciardo? There is Ricciardo going slowly in this one, and what's happened? Surely he's not having another reliability drama, is he? He's going very slowly, and I think it might be with smoke coming out of his car. Daniel Ricciardo out of the race, another reliability problem in that McLaren. He's had no luck in the mid part of this season as we are overtaken by Fernando Alonso now. We have to go back up the inside of the Alpine car. Alonso out of nowhere in this race briefly took the lead. Now we have to defend from the Ferrari who's going around the outside. We force him wide. Now the Mercedes on the left. We've got cars going everywhere. 3 different cars trying to overtake us in 3 corners. We hold them all off very aggressively. That's probably a little bit stepping over the line there of aggressive defense, but this is a victory we are fighting for, and we are not going to give it up easily. So we are going to throw everything at it, but that was definitely pushing the limits there of what we should be able to get away with. But anyway, Hamilton is the car behind us now, and look at that, Yuki Tsunoda has made his way up into third, and Hamilton into the pit lane. Tsunoda up into second place, getting past Fernando Alonso there, and now as we continue on, Tsunoda is going to go up the inside and take the lead as we are really struggling now. I think we've damaged our car further on some curbs, and that is I think the end of our hopes of winning. Tsunoda into the lead, Alonso into second, and Lando Norris now really putting the pressure on as we head into Pouon, and we just don't have what it takes to hold him off. We just have nothing to fight with now. The wet conditions also not helping us out, and things are just getting even worse. We're off the podium now, and it's all of a sudden not looking like such a heroic drive. Our race is going up in flames, and it is all because of that bit of damage. I think if it wasn't for that, I think we would still be okay. But we also went for that aggressive strategy to go onto the soft tyres, and it hasn't paid out for us. I thought the tyre wear wouldn't be as high as it was in the end. I thought the soft tyres would be good enough to go the distance, but in the end, like I said, our race has gone up in flames. But emerging from those flames like a phoenix was Yuki Tsunoda, our teammate, and here is exactly how he did it. Getting past one Ferrari, Carlos Sainz there on the outside of Tsunoda, but Tsunoda making his way through the field, and you can see how aggressively we forced Alonso out of the way there, and Tsunoda getting past both Ferraris as Leclerc was regaining control. He held up Carlos Sainz, and that allowed Tsunoda to get through. Now we look at Fernando Alonso. Tsunoda up the inside into Blanchimont, and Lewis Hamilton there in front. He has a bit of damage to his car, so he's going a little bit slowly through this section, and as we go through the final few corners, Hamilton will pull off into the pit lane, and Tsunoda will get the job done on the inside here to get back ahead of Fernando Alonso, take that position and move himself up into second place. And of course we saw he would later take the lead of the race outright from us, but you can see even just through this first corner as we went a bit deep, how much time Tsunoda gained. So Tsunoda doing a very, very good job on the end of this one, and now has taken the lead. So that's a fantastic piece of driving there for Yuki Tsunoda to make his way through all of that chaos.
Strategy is available on the MFD.
And he will very likely win this race now. So that's fantastic for our teammate, who's had a rough time this season. But for us, we have given up the game. We're going into the pits. We're out of the top 10 by the time we got there. So yeah, we have nothing to lose now, and we're going to go onto the intermediate compound tyres for the rest of this race. We'll see what they can do for us. So we exit the pit lane now, and we'll run these for the final 2 laps. I doubt we'll be able to make up any positions.
Well out there. Keep it up. We're looking at about 10 more minutes of rain.
But
10 minutes. We're not certain which is the best tyre right now, dries or inters.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do, but the track is looking fairly wet.
The stewards have now disabled DRS. DRS is now disabled.
And yeah, DRS disabled, so we are on the right tyres, but I think it might be a bit too late for us at this point in the race. I think our day might be over. But Yuki Tsunoda, what a performance from him out of the final corner. Yuki Tsunoda will win the Belgian Grand Prix. What a drive from Yuki Tsunoda in the closing stages to take all those positions in the closing couple of laps. That was fantastic, and it almost didn't happen. I don't know what happened out of the final corner, but Yuki Tsunoda, you could hear the revs dropping there, so I don't know if there was some little technical issue or if he was just being super cautious on the accelerator. But we are going to have a small celebration for that. Yuki Tsunoda taking his first win in Formula 1. We're going to cross the line to finish last, but it's a victory for the team. That's good enough for me.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
That was fantastic from Yuki Tsunoda. Unbelievable finish for him. He gets the driver of the day as well, and that is well deserved.
Many doubted whether they could pull off the win here at Spa-Francorchamps, but they've done so in spectacular style. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
Well, Crofty, this was one through an abundance of speed and an abundance of skillful overtakes. Inside, outside, cutting underneath, we saw it all today. And it's really nice to see a Grand Prix won in that manner. A race, surely, that will satisfy the purists today, I think.
The faces on our top 3 look so incredibly happy as they make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all.
So it's Yuki Tsunoda who is on the top step of the podium. Great drive from him. Second place goes to Lando Norris, with Fernando Alonso in third for Alpine.
So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Yuki Tsunoda gets my vote today.
Let's move on to the constructors. McLaren continue to increase their gap at the top. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula 1.
Well, a few mixed feelings about that one. We threw 25 points away in the end. Well, to be honest, I don't know if there was a way we could have won that race. The strategy call we made at the start was perfect. Starting on the intermediate tyres, definitely the right way to go. We saved a lot of time, got into the lead, and with a significant gap by doing that. The mistake was trying to get to the end of the race on softs. I think if we pit the safety car like Tsunoda did, he ended up winning the thing. So, you know, it just goes to show how that went. But yeah, I thought we'd be able to hold them off, but with that bit of damage that we got, it just became so much harder. And yeah, that was really it for us. After that damage, we just didn't quite have the same ability to, you know, just to send it up the inside and retake positions or hold them off with, you know, by being late on the brakes. You know, even if the tyres weren't great, the car itself was still decent enough to hold on. But yeah, it just didn't quite work out for us in the end. And yeah, we just couldn't quite get there. I don't actually know if I don't even know if I ended up showing that battle in the video. How did I miss that one? Anyway, we banged wheels there with Ricciardo. Somehow I must have missed that in the editing, so whoops. But yeah, sorry about that. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Win for the team though, decent points for the team's championship, so there's no complaints in that department. Another disastrous race for Danny Rick, a DNF while he was running in a strong position. It was the championship leader by a significant margin earlier, and it's all gone wrong for him recently. But let's see what he can do in the rest of the season. There's still half a season to go at this point.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. How do you think this team will be feeling after that result?
I think Alpine will be very, very happy. A podium is a fantastic result for them.
Your teammate took the #1 spot. Does that make you happy or jealous?
As a driver, it's frustrating because we were in that position until the last few laps, but as the team owner, of course, I'm incredibly happy to see him get that result. That's fantastic to see, and it's great points for the team's championships, so yeah, it's definitely makes me very happy to see.
Great, well that's everything.
Alright, thank you, Claire. So, that brings an end to the Belgian Grand Prix weekend. Hamilton gains a bit of ground in our rivalry, but we still lead the way overall on 9 points versus 7. Acclaim, our team Acclaim now level 19, and Yuki Tsunoda's Acclaim skyrocketing after that result. Unfortunately, we don't get the PSD sponsor objective because we didn't answer enough interview questions. That's kind of a bit down to luck, to be honest. But anyway, there we have it, $13.94 million in the bank, and that is going to be very useful to us because we actually have to re-sign our teammate.
The sponsors is cleared, and we're making good profit against our running costs.
Very good. Alright, so we are of course going to re-sign Yuki Tsunoda. I mean, we were always going to, but after that win, that has just cemented it in concrete. We're going to go with a low risk option and give him as much money as we can. We'll call it a bonus after taking that win when we were not able to finish the job ourselves. He accepts the offer and he's with us for the rest of the season, which will likely be the rest of the series. But anyway, with that out of the way, we'll fill in the activity timeline, which we have now done. So let's move on to the next thing. And with Tsunoda's contract paid for, we can finally upgrade facilities again. We're going to go for resource point generation on the chassis facility, now to R&D. We can't do anything. So we go through the timeline then.
We had a major issue on the production line earlier this week, so the entire development package for the weekend has failed. Any redevelopments will need to be ordered from the R&D screen.
And there we have it. Straight away, a failure. We'll get that amended and it will still be on the card just in time for the Russian Grand Prix. So that is not going to be a huge issue for us, just costs a few extra resource points. Continuing through then.
How do you want us to deal with this one?
And we have a department event that we really only have one option for because we don't have the resource points required to agree to it. But I'm going to be honest, even if I could agree to that, I don't think I would. 750 resource points is a lot, and 20% morale is a decent amount, but it's not as much as 750 resource points.
The department wants me to pass on their thanks for helping out.
So now we continue through the timeline again until we get our weekly resource points. Let's see if we have enough to do any upgrades, and now, no we don't, and we'll return to the timeline to continue through and head towards the next weekend.
Without issue. They'll be on the car ready for the next race weekend.
And we get a pair of upgrades to the chassis, weight reduction and weight redistribution upgrades. I think they were both major, not 100% sure about that, but if you look now, we've actually got the second best aero, so we are really fighting with the best here in terms of the aero department. Chassis, we are actually the best on the list there. Power unit department, not quite as good. We're down the order there, but still not the worst. And durability, I think is good enough. It's not great, but we were near the top of the durability department a few rounds ago, but everyone else clearly working in that area. But we've sort of put in the work there early in the season, so later on our durability might not look as good, but because we've put in the work earlier, we will see more benefit from it. But anyway, other than that then, I don't think there's too much else left to cover, so I'll just say thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Feel free to give me some feedback in the comments, I would really appreciate it, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.